Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Meet the Experts. I am Jay Vix, your host, and I wouldn't say fearless leader because I have plenty of fears. So that would be silly. But anyway, the host of Meet the Experts. What the heck is Meet the Experts? If you're here or you just found this on YouTube or you're just watching, Meet the Experts is a free service that we offer almost as a public service to entrepreneurs, thought leaders, business owners, um, managers, people who have products and services or a story to tell. And the reason we do it for free is because we like growing our network. And people have often said, well, Jay, that's a terrible business model. And it would be had it not turned into lots of business because of growing our network and building relationships with people. We also just love delivering value in advance. So if I can bring some value in advance of anything else that might come from that relationship and just give people some goodwill, I think it does a lot. It's my little part of doing good in the world. I'm happy. It's purely selfish reasons. I want to make myself feel better. But anyway, it's been great. And if you stick around till the end of this episode, I will tell you exactly how you can be a guest on Meet the Experts, but you have to watch the episode because it's going to be another good one. We've done almost 70 episodes of Meet the Experts now. We started during the pandemic and we're up to almost seven. I think this is like number 67. And I'm just as excited about this one as I am for every other one. I always say, oh, I'm so excited about this episode. And I have said that 67 times now. But it's always good. I always pick up lots of nuggets from my guests, and it's always just a fun interview. I love meeting and talking to people. People fascinate me. And I'm learning, like today's guest, that there is a market for everything, like that, things I didn't even think about. So today's guest, Rachael, is one of the founders and co-owners of the Unknown Authors Club. Who knew? Right? An independent publishing company amplifying the voice of the unknown author. I can't wait for her to tell you all about the Unknown Authors Club. I have a little bit of a teaser because we had a sound check test a couple of weeks ago, or a couple months ago now. And but I'm ready to dive in. So without further ado, let's bring Rachael up. And Rachael, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Jay, for letting me be on this cool anti-podcast. And I've been really looking forward to getting to chat.
That's awesome. I love it. You're the first guest who's actually, followed me up with my mantra of the anti-podcast. So
Well, it's
thank you
good.
for
I
that.
mean, I have a podcast and I know that it's a ton of work, and I like how you're inverting the whole podcast method. It's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been, I say a lot of people use the term labor of love, but they mean it in like a negative way, like, oh, it's a labor of love. Like I look at it as like, yeah, there is a little bit of labor, but I truly love doing it. It's a lot of fun, and luckily I've got some good team people on my team that help me.
Yeah.
Like Chris is reaching out to people to see if they want to be a guest, and Veronica helps with social media, and I've got the graphics team. And it's not my primary function, but
Yeah.
it helps me bring new business in and get to know people. So yeah.
Yeah. And I find when you find something that works, just keep doing it because it's working, you know?
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, I have no plans on stopping anytime
Good.
soon. And you know what? If nothing else, I was just talking on it with another guest whose episode will be out right before yours. And every time I do one of these, no pressure on you today, Rachael, but every time I do one of these episodes lately, somebody says something that is like a bomb dropped in my head. It changes my perspective. It changes the way I look at things, or just it's just so impactful that it hits me in all the right places, right? In all the
Yeah.
feels.
Yeah.
And I was saying, I was like, I should go back through some of these episodes and I should pull out those clips and do like 10 moments from my show that changed my life, or
Yeah.
gave me a new way to look at things. Cause that's been um, one of the rewards I've gotten that I had no clue I was going to get from doing
Yes.
this,
Yes. And you're the one that reward, like I'm just a guest, so I haven't watched all of the episodes,
Right.
but you're reaping all the benefits from getting to meet with this humongous wide variety of people doing, sounds like, really amazing things.
It's been fun, and
That's
I've
so
learned so
cool.
much. Well,
That's so
cool. But we're
cool.
not here to talk about me and all the fun stuff that I've learned from all this. I want to learn
Totally.
more about you, Rachel. So
Sounds
tell
good.
everyone a little bit more about you and kind of what you do.
Yeah, sure. Well, a few years ago, I had finished, kind of finished this amazing, what I found was amazing manuscript for a book. And I had worked really hard on it. I had this really cool idea. I had done this whole project. I wrote a book, and then I was like, well, let's get this thing out in the world. So I had found this writing cohort where this individual helped me and four other authors, four other women. She was going to help us come up with a proposal. So if you want to get a book published, usually you need an agent, because the agent is the between the author and a publishing company. And so I thought, well, great, I'll do this program. She took it. It was like this boot camp. We did it for 30 days. We did all these steps. We came up with this amazing proposal. So the end of the month, I had this awesome proposal, and I thought, well, sweet. It'll take me about 5 minutes to get a agent, and it'll take me about 30 seconds for him to, find a publisher. And then I'm going to get published. I'm going to be so famous and so rich, so rich writing books. And clearly I'm joking, because none of that happened. I was lucky enough to land an agent, but the process is crazy. And as I was experiencing the rejection after rejection after rejection, I kept in touch with two of the women from that group. We kept in touch over Marco Polo. And we all started saying the same thing of like, this feels rigged. We've written these good books. We're not terrible writers. We've written high quality stories. We're good storytellers. We can craft this together. And why do we keep getting rejected? And I was finding I got probably 10 to 20 responses of, oh wow, so beautiful, so well written, what a great concept of a book. But she doesn't have a platform. And so we can't move forward with this. And I heard that over and over and over. The first time it stung, and the 50th time I was like furious. Like, this, you've got to be kidding me. What a stupid thing. Because after all, you're like, I don't I don't want to read a book written by someone who, got famous by making viral videos on TikTok. That
Hmm.
they might have an interesting story to tell also, but why are they getting a book deal when I majored in English in college? Like, I have some qualifications to write a book, and it just didn't seem fair. So my friends and I, we were all huffy about it, and we finally were like, you know what? We could sit around and complain all day, and it feels good to complain and commiserate, or we could actually do something about this and kind of stick it to the man in a very I mean, we knew it would be a small thing, but we're going to stick it to the man. It'll feel good to stick it to the man and say, see, we did something. So we decided, well, let's create an anthology. Let's see if we can find, say, 15 authors who are also unknown, and see if they'll write some type of essay about what it feels like to be unknown. And then we'll compile all of those, and then we'll figure out how to, self-publish it on Amazon. And then we'll have this coordinated launch effort where everybody on the same day will buy 10 copies, and we'll blast it out on social media, and we'll see if we can make any waves. And meanwhile, we will have done what all the, publishers said we couldn't do. So we did it. And at the end of it, I thought, oh, good, we're done. That was great. Good for us. We gave a voice to the unknown author. And my two friends were like, hey, we really learned a lot doing that. And we're actually pretty good at it. And I think we offered a pretty amazing service to these 15 authors that, wrote with us. What if we started a publishing company? And I was like, oh my gosh, I am a copywriter by trade, so I already have a copywriting business. I was thinking about launching a podcast, which I did. I'd written this book. I'm still trying to get that all figured out. And I'm like, oh man, yeah, I have kids, I have family. I'm like, I can't do, but sure enough, yep, we did. We started a publishing company. And so that's what we're doing. We're helping amplify the voice of unknown authors, people who also don't have platforms and don't believe that a platform is the qualification that you should have to get a book published. For other people to hear your story, I don't think you have to be famous on TikTok. I'm not I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm not anti TikTok. I just feel like the way our society makes people famous feels to me it feels very inauthentic,
Mm.
and that inauthenticity just turns me off, and I feel like that's what we're again we're not we don't like that part. So we like the unknown author, and we want to amplify the voice of people who will otherwise not find an agent, not get published by the traditional publishing industry.
It's interesting that you say that, and I think our ethos kind of lines up a lot in the fact that 23 years ago, people love it when I tell the story because I'm like that crazy uncle who played in a band years ago. But 23 years ago, or 24 years ago, I played in a punk rock band in northern New Jersey,
Uh-huh.
and it was very similar. It was like, if you don't have this or if you don't have that, you're not going to get signed. And it was very, well, then we're going to create it ourselves. And there was a lot of the creation of the scene ourselves. Okay, we'll put on our own shows. We'll book our own tours. We'll put out our own
Yes.
albums, and we'll create our own label, right? And publish it ourselves. And there was a lot of that went on, and I look back and I'm like, some of the people ended up doing really well from that, but but
Yeah.
others like myself, just we just felt good that we were able to do it. Like, I can look back and say, yeah, I went on a tour and I hear myself on a CD whenever I want. A CD, right? I can hear
Yeah.
myself on
Yeah.
Spotify whenever I want,
Right.
or stream,
Right.
SoundCloud. But I feel like I feel like what you're doing, to me, it speaks to my heart. It speaks to 20-year-old me that's just like,
Mm,
just go ahead and do it. Just you
yes.
can do it yourself.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I
Yep.
I feel like I feel like it's brilliant what you guys are working on,
Thank
and
you.
it's not highly rewarded, but it is rewarding to you and the people you're helping. So
Yes.
that's huge.
Totally. Yeah, we're
So
definitely still not in it for the money.
right, right,
It's
right, right.
definitely not an industry that makes money, but we feel like we're in our own way we're challenging the gatekeepers. We're bringing it to the gatekeepers to say, sure, you can say whatever you want, but here's what we're going to do.
Sure. So I know you kind of went into this, but when you're talking about helping authors, um, talk about some of the services that you're providing to them, and I guess, I mean, I say share some of your services and who they help. We kind of
Yeah,
know that they help authors, but share some of those kind of services that you're providing.
sure. So basically we will take anyone who has we try to start with someone who say has a complete manuscript. So I mean, you could say, hey, I have this idea for a book, I'd love to get it published, but chances are we're going to say, okay, hey, write the book and bring it to us. So essentially, we could help someone who maybe has finished but hasn't edited it, because in our group of three, I would say that all three of us are actually fairly skilled editors. So someone would bring us a manuscript, we'd read through it, we decide if it was a good fit. And so far, basically everything has been a good fit. I would say that there's a couple of genres that we probably wouldn't publish just because we're not super passionate about, say, a horror book, or
Okay.
maybe like a bodice ripping, type of romance novel. I don't think that really would resonate with us. But uh, someone would bring us their manuscript. We'd kind of come up with a package of like, here's how much you would invest, and here's kind of what you get. So we feel like our prices are pretty reasonable compared to some of the bigger companies that we're doing what we're doing. We offer better customer service, way more of a like, hey, let's be a team with you. We're going to cheerlead you on the way. We're going to meet with you face to face on a screen to walk you through this process. And then we set a timeline and we sort of walk the author through, but we handle all of getting everything set up on Amazon, selecting the right keywords. I write all of the copy about the book for all the marketing stuff, for all the back of the book. Um, we design covers and then, work with the author and let the author pick their cover. Our goal, I mean, we want every author to be so proud of, when their book comes out on that day and they order it from Amazon and, they're holding it in their hands. We want that author to just feel like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted. I'm so proud of it. And we want to be proud of it too. So that's sort of why we stick to the genres that we feel most comfortable with and why we work really hard at the books, because I think we want to develop the reputation that if you order a book that the Unknown Authors Club has produced, you're guaranteed it's going to be a great book. It might not be, the book that it might not be a story that totally resonates with you, but you could pass it on to someone who it would resonate with, and they will, encounter a high quality book that's well written, that's well done, that has a nice cover, that the back of the book makes sense. It doesn't look homegrown. And
Hmm.
I mean, there's plenty of books that it's okay, they look homegrown, and you're still proud of the author for taking the risk to do it. But we really pride ourselves in coming up with a super high quality product.
And I think that's really key. I think I also think that, and I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like authors, musicians they're very in the similar vein. I feel like just putting out something, publishing something, some piece of art that you are proud of, and knowing that it was done right and done with every ounce of your blood, sweat, and tears, I think is more rewarding. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's plenty of people that would love the bestseller and all the accolades that come along with it. But I think just getting something out into the world that is true,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Um, means just as much. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
the sense of pride, the sense of
Yep.
reward that you get. Like when I saw a shrink wrapped CD in my hands of something that I was a part of, I was it's tangible, and I was just like, it didn't need to be put out by Columbia or Capitol Records or something, or it's here,
Yeah.
and you can have it or you can buy
Yes.
it, and I think that for an artist like an author, um, that's really what's most important. So putting out
Yeah.
high quality is
Yep.
incredible.
Yeah, and taking that, I feel like some of their authors come with this burden of like, I have to tell this story. I have to follow through. We had an author recently, and I felt like that was her thing. She's like, I have to sort of get this off my chest. I have to make a book about this, and so we did, and it just came out this or in at the end of July, and it's beautiful, and it's her story, and I felt like it was a burden lifted, that she
Mm,
was able to say, "Here's my story in one, simple book." And sure, is she gonna sell 1,000,000 copies? I mean, we certainly hope so, but is she so proud of that book, and can all of her friends and family, and hopefully a bunch of women who hers is a breast cancer story, and
mm,
I mean, breast cancer has touched everybody. So there's a
absolutely.
humongous audience for her story. And we hope that this humongous audience finds it. But if they don't, we have allowed her to tell her story and it looks beautiful and she's proud of it. And I think you're right. There's something very significant to, producing that for our people. Now, I mean, yeah, we want 1,000,000 people to read all of our books
Of
because,
course.
that's we feel passionately about those. But if not, we're okay with that too.
Yeah. That's the important thing what you said there. I mean, if not, you're okay with that. And that's
Yeah,
being okay with that is a major milestone, and
yeah,
that kind of defines the purpose of what you guys are doing anyway. So,
yeah,
um so question about and I love the way you also brought in like knowing the avatar. Like everybody's been affected by breast cancer, so it doesn't mean that everybody affected by breast cancer is going to even know this book exists, but at least you know the avatar so that any marketing or anything you do towards it, kind of the audience to go to. um
exactly.
and that's look, you never know when something's just going to kind of virally take off either. So
Exactly.
you
Yep.
just go for it. Speaking
Yeah.
of making people happy, I
Yes.
think that everybody in a business, even new business, old businesses from all walks of life, you got to have somebody. You got to make somebody happy, right?
Yep.
Or you can't
Absolutely.
stay. You can't keep doing what
No.
you're doing. So, do you
No.
have? Is there? If I said, can you share a testimonial or a win from somebody? Is there something that just pops into your head as far as a way you've helped somebody in a way they've maybe told you?
I would say, I mean, it's actually it kind of sparks like, oh hey, we should get some testimonials from some of these authors that we've worked on. And you'll make a little note of that. I think I don't know if there's anything more satisfying than meeting, like having that last call with the author and say, congratulations. We're so excited to order our copies of your book tomorrow when it comes out. And, for that author to just say, oh my gosh, we did it, and we'll say, no, you did it. Like we
Mm,
just did kind of what you hired us to do, but you're the one with the story. You're the one that has now got it out there. And yeah, we helped you get there. But I think I would say talking to our friend who did the breast cancer book, there was a very poignant moment in those last couple meetings that we knew that for her, it was such a painful journey through that. And it was so vulnerable and so
mm,
upending, it basically ruined her life for a year. And I think that's probably pretty typical of, anyone who has dealt with a severe bout with cancer. And so for her to feel like I went through this horrible thing and now I get the chance to hopefully help a bunch of women and, through her own story. And then she gives just very insightful, very practical advice on how to walk through your own cancer journey. And I think talking with her and knowing that it was so huge for her to
mm.
get that out there. And I would say that's again, we're super proud of that. And we know that it's more than just a book. It is it's the next sort of step in being healed from cancer. It's the almost putting it behind her, like, acknowledging that, yeah, this happened to me and here's my story, but I'm better now and I'm going to move forward. And in my moving forward, I'm going to be helping all these people and all these women who are, maybe struggling the same way I did. And there's something pretty deep and profound about that. And that's just one of the books. By the time, let's see, by May, I keep getting this number wrong because we keep getting fabulous projects we get to work on. So I think by May of 2024, the Unknown Authors Club, I think we'll have published maybe 7 books.
Wow.
We
Okay.
have we have one coming out September 8th, which is a hilarious a novel about a teacher that moves to Turkey and has all you can imagine like foibles of life as she adjusts to a non-English speaking, country that has a totally different culture. Hilarious. So that comes out beginning of September. We have an Advent book coming out, and it's another anthology of, different voices. So that comes out. I think we're going to try to shoot for October for that. We're going to have another novel coming out in January, a children's book coming out, which will be a first for us. We're super excited about a very exciting children's book. And then a, a, a nonprofit hired us to do an anthology specifically for their nonprofit, and it's stories of mothers with children with severe disabilities. So we're talking about the moms that have, who haven't slept maybe a solid night of sleep in 15 years, and sort of the superhero moms that take care of maybe a child or a sibling or something with severe disability. So that book will come out in May. And I mean, every single one of those books I'm super proud of, and we're excited to, continue to amplify the voice of the unknown author.
With great reason. That sounds awesome. All right, we got a couple more questions. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
but, so I always call this the earned it, learned it, improved your authority. Like from an educational standpoint, how did you
Mhm.
get to this point in life where it helps you, and what specifically has helped you get to this point from an education? Is it titles, certifications, hard knocks? Like what is it? What have you used?
I would say that I've been surprised, pleasantly surprised in the best way, that the 3 women that make up the Unknown Authors Club, we all come from totally different life experiences, educations. Um, Leslee was like is an expert in corporate communications. She's incredible. She also has an amazing creative eye, so she designs the covers. Jodi is, we call her the IT woman because she can do all the back end Amazon stuff. But both of them have learned those things. Like Jodi knew a little bit, and Leslee, I would say, actually is an expert at corporate communications. She gets, that's her day job. She gets paid to do that. But them bringing their skills, and then I would say I probably past job experience for me, that copywriting, it's sort of a weird skill to have, but it comes in really handy when you need to quickly write website copy for an author website, or, the back of a book, or, hey, could you write a blurb about the Unknown Authors Club? Sure, blah, 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 and I can make something up. So the 3 of us together, I think that was sort of the aha moment, is after we had put out that first anthology and they were like, "Hey, we really learned a lot. We should think about a publishing company." I was thinking, "What?" But they were right. We had we had been so thorough in how we had taken each step and the incredible things that we had learned that then worked. And we thought, anyone could do what we do. You could self-publish and do it all, but you could also hire us to do it for you and
Mhm.
make it easier and have built-in cheerleaders who are teaching you some of the tricks of the trade. And so, did we major in book publishing? No, we absolutely did not. But we've figured it out as we have had the different experiences. And with the 3 of us, with our different skill sets, we've really formed a pretty beautiful team that complements each other well, and we have yet to sort of been stumped on something. Someone always has a skill or some kind of, "Oh, I'll research that," and, "Hey, here's what I came up with, and I think we should go with this," and it's been really exciting. It feels very innovative, the way we've kind of put it all together.
It sounds like it was like a perfect storm, almost that just came together, and it's going uh exceeding your own
Yeah,
expectations, which is huge in any business. It's hard to find
yep,
partners in business, and
yeah,
when you cross paths like that, and make that find that synergy. I mean, that's beautiful. That's a
yeah.
great story. So,
Yeah.
and that might just lead into the next question. So, Rachel, personally, professionally, however you want to answer this, totally up to you. But tell us something that you're thankful for.
Mhm. I love that question. I would say I'm thankful for a lot of things. I was actually just thinking yesterday, I'm really thankful that we have a little membership to this little community pool because it is hot in Seattle. I'm thankful for that. That is a very first world, really dumb answer to the question, what are you thankful for? But on a better level, I would say I'm really grateful that my friend Leslee said, I think we could start a publishing company, or I think we could do more with this, or I think we're onto something here. And I think my vision was like, oh, let's just do one thing, let's stick it to the man and be done. But I'm grateful that both Leslie and Jodi had the vision to say, no, this is something that's pretty special, even when all 3 of us didn't have the vision. I'm thankful that they pushed pushed me and encouraged me to say, yeah, this is pretty cool, and I think we can do something important and something that will really, you know, help the unknown author get their otherwise, obsolete story out into the world. So I'm grateful for them because they're talented, and I'm, we've made a really great team together.
Look, it doesn't take a monumental movement to change the world. You just have to make your own dent, right? And
Yes.
And to me, what you guys are doing, while it may seem monumental in a lot of people that hear your story, you're making your dent. That's all that
Yeah,
matters. If everybody makes
totally.
their dent, we're
Yep,
gonna do great things. We can always do great things. So
absolutely. And I feel like there's something about just showing up over and
yeah,
over and over to make that dent and to be consistent with even, I mean, even the plight of a writer. You have this great idea for a book. Well, you actually have to write it. And the
yeah,
way you do that is to show up to your computer or your notebook or whatever and type and write a bunch of words that you're like, I hate this. Fine, you can edit it, but you
sure.
have to show up to do the work. And I feel like writing is really hard work. Publishing, I've discovered, is, it's hard work, but we show up and we do it because we believe in it and it's important work.
I that resonates with me so much, even in the non-writing work that I do. So
Yeah,
awesome. All right, we got one more question for you, and this has been a joy. I can't believe we're over 30 minutes. This is one of our
I know.
longer episodes. It's great. It's
Oh
fine.
man, cool.
It's
Okay,
awesome.
good.
Um, so I always like to kind of preface this question. And if you've seen any episodes, you probably have heard it said. Every website seems to have like an FAQ section because every business has the same questions people ask over and over again. A lot of times, will this work for me, or whatever it is. Like, what is like the big question that you get asked by somebody who's considering working with you, and go ahead and answer it on video.
Sure. I would say we get asked a lot, what's included in my package, or how do I know, what publishing package is right for me? And I think, the answer to that, it's always very personal and totally depends on how much marketing the author wants to do. Some people like just publish my book. I'm going to sell it to my friends and family. I don't care if I sell 50 copies. That's all I want to do. Great. No problem. There's a space for you. And then there's the person that's trying to maybe build their platform. And so they want more of the marketing and help me amplify my voice even more. I don't I want to sell 1,000 copies. Great. There is a place for you, and we're happy to sort of help with as many tricks of the trade as we can, but it's very personalized. We come up with a very personalized service. One size does not fit all in publishing. And so
Mm.
I think people, those are the questions we get. How do your services help me, the most? How do I get the most bang for my buck? And so, we have an answer for that.
I love it. I love it. Rachael Mitchell, if you've been noticing the bottom of the screen, you shouldn't have to be TikTok famous to get a publishing deal. You shouldn't.
No,
Anybody can do it. Just need to find your tribe that can help you, that's willing to help you. And hey, go to www.theunknownauthors.club.com to learn more. Rachel, stick around backstage, but thank you so much for being a guest today. It was really a pleasure,
absolutely.
and a
Good.
lot of fun to listen to what you're doing. Keep up the great
Great.
work.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Awesome. Again, another just learning so much about different people and different things. Like, I didn't know there's this thing, this unknown authors club, but finding finding out that people are doing good in the world and they're really making a difference in people's lives. I mean, publishing a book, I wouldn't know the first thing about publishing a book. Now I do, but I wouldn't have had I not had this show. So speaking of, I told you, if you stuck around to the end of the episode, I would tell you exactly how you can become a guest on Meet the Experts podcast, or on the Meet the Experts show, the Anti podcast. And thank you, Rachel, for agreeing with me and calling it out. But yeah, if you want to be a future guest, doesn't cost you anything. You just have to have a product or service or a thought that you want to share with the rest of the world. www.meettheexperts with an S, meettheexpertspodcast.com, www.meettheexpertspodcast.com. It's a real easy form. You can read all about it. It's free. We do have some paid options if you need help editing your videos and publishing and promoting it. We're publishing them too if you need help. Yeah, we would love to have you on the show. We're coming up close on episode 70, so thank you for keeping this boat afloat. And we really do appreciate anybody who takes the time out of their day to watch this, whether it's on one of our platforms or one of our guest platforms. It all means a lot, and it's, you know, it's kind of our life's purpose to kind of let people get their message out on video, because it is critical. So until next time, I hope everyone has a wonderful day and keep up the good